Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of your Feel Good Family Breakfast Show. Now, this is a show that gives you a lot of positive energy to help you get through the rest of the week.
Yes, indeed.
Even though all the days are now
They're all lumped into one. It just feels like, every single day is the same.
like a never-ending day.
No, a never-ending weekend. But hey, this is a special edition. We're going to do our best to deliver an array of premium entertainment for you on TV. Now, we do our best to help you start your day the right way.
Yeah, positive vibes is what we've got for you today. Most people are already counting down to when they can step out of the house, back to work or back to whatever else, back to the groove. Well, not really back to clubbing, but...
No grooving, please.
Oh, so no grooving.
Grooving in your house, maybe.
Yeah, groove over in your house. I'm not even sure you can go to church yet.
No.
So...
Were you grooving in church too?
Yeah, you can groove in church. Well, if you don't groove in clubs,
yeah,
you have to serve somebody. So.
We have taken every precaution ourselves this morning. Hopefully you are taking the right precautions to make sure you keep your hands clean, keep a social distance from people around you if you must go out, and keep the highest level of hygiene possible. It's a special edition, and of course we're trying to put smiles on your faces this morning. My name is Titilayo Oyinson.
Mine's Yomi Okwe. We're live right now, tvcentertainment.tv, and on Facebook at TVC Connect.
Also, we'll be online looking out for your comments. Please engage with us. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Yeah.
Of course, we might at some point read your tweets and your comments on our social media platforms sometime during the show. So keep them coming.
We can't wait to see them.
Remember, our app is available for download both on your Android and iOS stores. And this app lets you watch us on the move, wherever you are.
Feels like it's going to be a packed show today.
Good morning to everyone.
Oh, wow.
Most people, having been at home for 4.5 weeks, you don't have a time when they go to bed and a time when they wake up. So it's like you just arrive at your destination.
It's molded into one.
Yeah. So you see people awake at 3 a.m. and asleep at 8. So I was talking to someone the other day, and she said she slept at 4. I was like, well, why did you sleep at 4? She said she was just up. She just couldn't sleep. So she had a lot of activities going on through the night, and then slept at 4, woke up at 10. It's
so crazy. So we wake up quite early. So I wake up at 4, standard at 4 because of coming to work here, and just make the mistake of opening up Instagram at that time. You see live discussions at 4 a.m.
Live videos and stuff. Yeah.
I'm confused. Live at 4 a.m. Unless you're in another country where it's another earlier time. But I'm just seeing a lot of people doing a lot of stuff online at that time because I guess it's now prime time all through the day.
Yeah.
But it does help to sort of create some kind of structure, especially for the kids. Now, the kids are not sleeping early anymore. They're sleeping like 11.
I think
11:30.
I think as parents, one of the things that we can do is to put a structure in, especially now that the kids are doing online
learning,
online learning and all of that. If you can put a structure in place for the kids, now you have, of course, more control over the kids than adults. So structure in place. Wake up at a certain time. Breakfast at a certain time. Bath at a certain time. Start classes at a certain time.
So classes will definitely always start at the same time.
Yeah, so if it's maybe normal school is 8 o'clock, maybe you want to push it to 9 for the kids now that are home. So once you have that kind of structure in place, even if they have a siesta, make it like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Get them up, go out to play, and then
getting them out to play is a big deal too, especially if you have space in maybe a compound or something like that. If you do have that kind of space, if you don't, getting them active, maybe doing jumping jacks or whatever you can do to let them burn off some energy.
That works. So by the time it's evening, they're just naturally tired. They're just naturally tired. So by 8:30, 9. They should be in bed.
So don't think I'm mean or anything, but I've started a book writing competition between my kids. So not that they're writing their own books, but I'm telling them to actually transcribe from their favorite book. So rewrite maybe Snow White or, you know, Sleeping Beauty or whatever. So by the time they're done with that, they're like, ah, Mommy, I'm tired.
So is
then
that,
they're
is that
like,
supposed to improve their handwriting? Or?
I actually found out quite a few things. So I know whose handwriting is the neatest, but I know whose spelling is the best. I know who stays on the lines. And who just, I'm noticing a lot of things that I
Yeah.
didn't notice before, just from this book writing thing. Then there's also a lot of kids just want to watch TV, and it does kind of weigh on them.
Yeah. No,
So
no, I mean,
I'm trying to limit that as
yeah.
much as possible.
What I've just found is that it's a lot of things have just happened naturally. So they're going back to school, in quotes, online learning has sort of naturally just cut back their TV time. So sometimes, you know, maybe you are resting in the morning, maybe you don't have to go to work that day, maybe you're off and you're sleeping till say 7 or 7:30.
Yeah.
You just be hearing noises, the TV's on. And then you discover that your kids woke up before you and they're watching TV. But now that's not the case because, you know, they know that they're going to be in school. So, yeah.
So there's so much happening. A lot of things are different, but there's something that remains the same. We have to take the news update at this point. We're starting with this story. The Adenuga twins are doing well, born by a 68-year-old woman, and but their parents are calling for assistance to ensure that they get good care. Jacqueline Ogo visited them again yesterday. She met a surprise.
All the time.
Both of
Suck.
them. Two of them.
Suck,
They
suck,
eat too
suck.
much.
That was the exact comment that got me going back to the Adenugas again. I was initially very curious to know how the newborn twins were being fed, whether by artificial milk or breast milk. But for once, I could not summon up courage to ask the question, because I didn't want to hurt their elderly mother. Then, pressure began to mount from TVC News viewers who wanted to know how they were being fed. So, I set out to find out, and I saw what I would like to describe as the amazing wonder. 68 years old Margaret Adenuga breastfeeding her babies effortlessly like a very young mother.
When they asked me to breastfeed, I didn't know how to, the way they do it. They taught me, the matron. So they asked me to clean my nipples. So after cleaning, they asked me to press the breast. As soon as I press it, the milk just rush out. I said, God. They said, carry your baby like this. They taught me. I did what they asked me to do. Put it in there. I press it again. The milk just rush out. I was very happy.
Breast milk started coming out. I said, wow. So they said, God is great. I said, yes. At this age, nobody expected her to be having milk in her breast at her age.
The story of the Adenuga twins has drawn attention to Nigeria through international news media. They are children born in the days of their parents' retirement from active service. Noah Adenuga served in the Federal Ministry of Information and the Federal Ministry for the Environment. Margaret is a retired caterer and a member of Winners Chapel. They say they need assistance.
Yes, because at my age, it's old age. There's not much I can do with I don't have enough strength now. But thank God that they came. No matter when they came, they eventually came. I live on meager pension, which cannot take me home. So I'm expecting federal government to do something.
So I thank God today that my prayer has been answered. Bishop Oyedepo should come to my aid because he was the one that joined hand
Bless you.
and blessed me to
Promise you that your prayers have
bring
been
the
answered.
children for me.
You've heard it all. Good Nigerians, the Adenuga twins need you. They need medical coverage, efficient caregivers at this time, as well as scholarships for sound education to keep the joy of this family and the nation alive. Jacqueline Ogo, TVC News, Lagos.
Lovely story indeed. We'll be having a lot more on the next update in the next hour, but that's all for now. We'll be taking a quick break and return with sports momentarily.